This is page 83, the third one, the one at the bottom of the page. Let's just go through and see what we got. We have a melody to deal with, so let's make sure we know the melody first. It's no sharps or flats in the key signature, and we're studying minor. I can tell you it's probably an A minor. C major or A minor. If you look at the end of the second line, you have here, it's an A minor. Another clue as to what it's in, if you look at the Roman numerals underneath the bottom staff, the one chord is an A, and that's an A minor chord. And then the 5 is the E minor chord. That tell you it's an A minor. 6/8 time, and we have 2/8 notes at the beginning, so it's a pickup measure. We're coming in on beat 5, 5, 6, 1. But if you look at the last measure, it's got 4 beats in it, so that's okay. It all works out. Let's get the melody first. Now, 6/8 time, and 8th note gets a count. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And I connect everything at first, okay? 2, 3, 1, 2, oh. And the measure 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's timed, okay. So I get the melody, okay. Then the chords, well, we have the 1 chord and the 5. If you're only playing the 1 note, that's it. That's what you're doing. You want to do the chords? I think that sounds nice, so you can do the chords. Or you can do here to here. There are different ways of playing the chords. But here, put them together. Now it sounds weird here in the second full measure. It sounds better if I just play the 1 note, because it sounds like I'm still in this chord. You know, in my opinion, it sounds better that way. So in that second full measure, I'd stick with a 1 chord at first and then change it in the middle of the measure to the other chord. Always just change chords at the bar line. You can change them wherever the music, the harmony tells you to. It makes sense. However, if you just play the 1 note, then you get away with it because you don't know which chord you're on. Either one sound. And that doesn't sound right. The measure 4, so I don't want a 1 chord there. I need a 5 chord there. So if I do a 1, 5, 1, 5, going back and forth, and then 1, 1, or in the second line, we're here. I can do 2 5s in a row, so I end it with a 5-1 cadence, a chord progression at the end. Whichever. You experiment. I like it better if we put the chord in so we can actually hear the harmony, but when you do that, it makes it a little trickier, because like in the second full measure, I don't want a 1 chord or a 5 chord at first. I'm still on a 1 chord. And then I can go here for the 4th beat. 1, 2. And I don't like that in the last 2 measures. Yeah, because that's the 5-1. Well, if I'm going to do that, maybe I'm going to do a 1-1 at the end. So the last line is. It can change the harmony up depending on what note you're playing in the chord or not playing in the chord. Because here, if I only play the 1 note, this note is in both chords. It'll work either way. So when I add the rest of the note in the chord and fill out the harmony, then is that really the chord I'm after? No, I would question that on what they're doing there, telling you a 5 chord in the second full measure, because by itself it's okay, but it's really part of the 1 chord. It's not until later in the measure when you got to go here, where you're changing it from 1 to a 5 chord. I put the E on top. So experiment with the harmony and see what you do. Again, one of the things they do in these books I've noticed is they try and keep things a little simple for you because you got enough to think about. But the problem is then you start hearing junk. Again, I don't do play with me's on this. All you're doing is the melody. Hopefully you can do that, and then you make up the harmony. They want you to transpose this to C minor. So again, it's C minor, and then the 5 chord is the G minor chord. You're just playing, you're in that position, and you're playing the notes in C minor, which is an E flat. Or that way it works out okay. You can do the 5-1 chord at the end too if you're only playing one note. And I didn't really get into articulation or dynamics or any of that because we're focusing mainly on technique, the harmonization here. But again, always do the phrasing. I was picking it up. So here, lift, just quick lift here. The natural accents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should it feel go to here. The articulation and the dynamics and all that junk. You can add that in on your own. Let me know if you have questions.